Hi, I'm Dongshang. Welcome to Digging into China, where we explore China in depth to review unique perspectives. Recently, following Chinese diplomat Xue Jian's inflammatory remark about severing the heads of Japanese leaders, the Chinese media has erupted once more, amplifying aggressive rhetoric. The Chinese Communist Party now declares it will plunge Japan into a sea of flames over tensions involving Taiwan. The consequence? Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi remains resolute in her stance, and her cabinet's approval rating has surged to a remarkable 70%, a near record high. In Japan's landscape of frequent leadership transitions, this represents a true political phenomenon. Such maneuvers by the Communist Party are not isolated. They follow a pattern. Since Taiwan's inaugural direct presidential election in 1996, its politics had sustained a balanced alternation between two major parties. However, from 2013 onward, the party has interfered in every election cycle through military threats or performative displays such as missile tests over coastal waters, ultimately disrupting this equilibrium. The Kuomintang struggled to maintain its rotational governance. In these matters, Xi Jinping and the Communist Party excel at the provocation but falter in achieving meaningful outcomes. It is often observed that those endorsed by the Communist Party face a downfall, while its adversaries prosper. Just days ago, on November 17, Sheikh Hasina, the former Bangladesh Prime Minister once boasted by Beijing during her suppression of protests, was sentenced to death for crimes against humanity. Similar fates have befallen groups like Hamas, Hezbollah in Lebanon, and the Iranian regime, yet the reversals continue. On November 7 and 8, Taiwan's Vice President Xiaobin Kim addressed the European Parliament in Brussels, marking a significant diplomatic breakthrough. This signals that the party's efforts to isolate Taiwan internationally are steadily unraveling. These provocations will precipitate profound transformative for Japan and the global order. Let us commence with the lens of democratic politics and public sentiment, exploring their implications for Japan's political framework and economic strategies. Consider first the realm of emotions. Three primary forces propel human action: fear, anger, and desire. Notably, the most potent drivers of behavior tend to be negative in nature. Many analysts argue that democratic societies cannot sustain substantial costs, a proposition I do not fully endorse. The crux lies in the emotion evoked by an event. If it arouses anger and fear, prompting defensive and retaliatory measures, the ensuing costs are viewed as indispensable. The recent Canadian federal election of April 2025 illustrates this vividly. Canadian voters are generally measured, bordering on political apathy. Yet President Trump's suggestion of annexing Canada as the 51st state, coupled with tariff threats, galvanized the electorate. Absent these provocations, the Liberal Party, then trailing in polls across ideological spectrums, might have suffered defeat. Instead, Trump's remarks ignited a surge of collective anger and fear, propelling Mark Carney's Liberals to an unexpected victory. Reflect upon it. Beyond these twin engines of motivation, what else mobilized the voters? Here, psychologist Carl Jung's perspective on anger proves illuminating. He described that fear and anger are manifestations of the same underlying emotion, with anger serving as fear armored for battle. One might extend this. Even greed is fear embellished, masquerading as allure. The psychology of financial gain exemplifies this inversion of fear. Anticipated rewards precede the dread of loss. The belief that others are prospering fosters one's own pursuit, only to heighten the terror of deprivation, thereby spurring decisive action. Likewise, the image of Trump raising his fist post-assassination attempt, fight, 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 with blood visible from his ear, evoked profound public outrage towards the perpetrator, reinforced by resonant symbols of resilience. In essence, emotional impetus stems not from the allure of gain, but from the aversion to loss, a psychological void unbound by material metrics. Persuasive strategies such as advertising thus emphasize potential forfeiture over prospective benefits. This yields broader principles. In interpersonal dynamics, persistent pursuit may yield rejection, yet withdrawal, absent outright disdain, often induces a sense of absence in the other, enhancing future prospects upon re-engagement. Humans, irrespective of gender, frequently misattribute such voids to unspoken affinity, a fundamental facet of our emotional architecture. Returning to the Communist Party. Its mobilization strategy hinges on fear, sustained through pervasive conditioning, ingrained obedience, the suppression of civil society, and vast resources for systemic control. Any lapse in these elements undermines compliance. Democratic societies, by contrast, fostered through associative freedoms, early emphasis on critical thinking, and a pluralistic discourse, resist such coerced submission. Despite escalated media controls and security measures in China, incidents of public dissent persist unabated this year. From Sichuan to Beijing, Yunnan to the northeast, encompassing projections on structures, annotations on utility poles, overpass displays evolving into workplace expressions. This resilience endures amid substantial investments in surveillance and enforcement. Thus, neither Taiwan nor Japan regards the party as a credible deterrent. In democratic contexts, a compelling dynamic prevails. Mastery of collective anger, symbolic power translates to electoral dominance. Here, obstacles to Japan's fiscal and political agenda have dissipated. I once questioned the viability of expansive monetary policy in Japan, yet the CCP's recent escalations have shifted the terrain. Should such incidents recur, public fervor may well propel amendments to Japan's peace constitution. The party's presumptions, treating foreign publics as extensions of its base, betrayed a profound miscalculation. This trajectory reveals the party's reliance on exporting fear, even as it boasts of incinerating Japan. Were such capabilities genuine, it would scarcely tolerate a democratized Republic of China in Taiwan, fortified by robust legitimacy. Dispensing with a sweeping historical or martial analysis, let us examine the bureaucracy's calculus of gain, deprivation, and risk aversion, their pragmatic deliberations. A conflict with Taiwan or Japan entails negligible prospects of victory. Even success would yield scant bureaucratic gains. Defeat, however, far more probable, would obliterate officialdom's foundations. Envision a wager: stake $100 with under 1% odds of success, netting $1 upon win, yet forfeiting all in loss. Rational actors, even atypical ones, would demur. Some contend that domestic strains might prompt external diversion, akin to Nazi war-making. Yet, Hitler's electoral mandate far surpassed the CCP's legitimacy. Moreover, Nazi expropriations were redistributed to the populace, a redistribution inconceivable under the CCP's model. The Nazis secured military collaboration only amid peak approbation, and even then it was provisional. Distinguished SS derived from 1921 stormtroopers from the Prussian-rooted Wehrmacht. where Junker nobles evident in von surnames wielded influence. The 1944 plot against Hitler, spearheaded by Colonel Klaus von Stauffenberg, alongside officers like Karl Godeler, former Leipzig mayor, Field Marshal Erwin von Witzleben, and General Henning von Treschow, unfolded post-accommodation with Nazism. Similarly, in 1945, General Walter Wenck's 12th Army nominally obeyed Hitler's Berlin relief order but maneuvered westward to surrender to Allies along the Elbe, eschewing Soviet capitulation, breaching encirclements. It even overran obstructing German units, culminating in U.S. 9th Army submission. These accounts underscore that external deflection demands rare preconditions. The People's Liberation Army's posture, coupled with evident military disengagement from Xi, exemplified by absence during the Fujian carrier's catapult inspection, including Vice Chairman Zhang Youxia and the Navy commander, signals profound discord. Internally, the party grapples with eroding governing legitimacy. Germany once externalized the rules to Versailles. China's economic travails, however, stem from endogenous policies and missteps. You can't blame the US or Japan. Externalizing contradictions thus requires formidable foundations. Emulating Nazi aggressions at Xi's discretion would evoke not Hitler but Ceausescu's ignominy. Yet, this dynamic yields unintended benefits. The CCP's global anxiety generation inadvertently consolidates Western cohesion. Consider its contrarian essence. Actions in one direction invite opposition. Vilifications spur investment. Embargoes fortify supply chains, surpassing conventional analysis. For Japan, heightened threats will elevate defense outlays from 1 to 2% of GDP, unlocking trillions in stimulus. Firms like Mitsubishi Heavy Industries, Kawasaki Heavy Industries, and IHI stand to thrive, alongside electronics and materials suppliers. In Taiwan, intensified pressure amplified TSMC's centrality in global networks as nations safeguard semiconductor, computational, and fabrication capabilities. NVIDIA's Jensen Huang's recent Taiwan visit underscored this urgency. Beyond the chips, Taiwan's precision machinery and specialty chemicals will flourish in de-risked supply reconfiguration. Such reconfiguration brims with prospects. Vietnam, India, Mexico, nurtured by prior Chinese investments, now absorb relocating capacity, fueling surges akin to Singapore's trajectory. Ultimately, genuine warfare eludes the party because its existential tensions are domestic. Its paradigm extracts from the populace, rendering foreign affairs, Taiwan's status, or peripheral territories peripheral. Solely Xi covets Taiwan's annexation for personal glory at the bureaucracy and the military's expense. From a game theoretical vantage, domestic suppression offers superior efficacy, economy, and probability over external entanglements. With amplified rewards and prospects, few embrace assured defeat. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please like it, drop a comment below, and hit subscribe button right here. It really helps YouTube suggest my video to others. I'll be back with more content soon. Until then, be well.